Together we can mobilize a global mission force to finish the task. This is your tribe.
Hello, welcome.
Hi.
Hi. So today our special guests are not just one person, but a lovely couple who are also my very good friends. They are from Switzerland. So right now they are in, I don't know, what's the city in Switzerland again?
Zurich, close to Zurich.
That's right. They were used to be missionaries here in Taiwan, but now they're leading the mission network and also the association AEM. So let's welcome Alain and Rita Haudenschild.
It's a pleasure to be here today with you all.
All right. Hey,
friend.
Yeah. And how are you doing? It looks like a very sunny day out there.
Well, after a lot of rainy and dark days, we are pleased to have a very blessed sunny day. Yes.
Alain, since we know each other for I think more than 10 years now, right? Since I was a boy.
Probably 15 years.
Almost 20 years, yes. I believe.
Oh, really? Yeah.
When I entered CCEA 2002.
Yeah, so probably there was a while ago, but so Alain and Rita, they had such a great journey as missionaries and also mission mobilizers. Just tell us a little bit about yourself and your journey and how God had been leading you this way, and not just spending a lot of time in ministry, but also in a very different culture, and now going back to your own originated context and be a mobilizer. So Alain,
well, actually, we started when we came to Taiwan. For about 8 years, we were in church planting, and we never anticipated to be involved or get involved into mobilization. Mm-hmm. We were in a church planting mission organization, mm-hmm. and so for the first years, doing Mandarin study was the big thing to do anyway, because we said, okay, the first missionary who met us at the airport said, after 10 years, you'll be fine. First you'll learn Chinese and then maybe somebody will listen to what you have to say. That was the start, right?
That's right. And because of this, we decided to just build missional churches. We figured that Chinese would always copy what works. So our mission decided to go that track and to just build new churches that from the very beginning emphasize the Lord's mission among the nations. And that was our vision right from the beginning, to enforce that.
That's great. And tell us a little bit of what you're doing now, especially after 25 years in Taiwan, and now you're back in Switzerland, and your work as a director of AEM, and just tell us a little bit about that, right?
Okay, I just have to say I didn't really want to come back to Switzerland, but the Lord made very clear I need you here. And now what I enjoy helping mission leaders of various mission organizations to do a good job, to be encouraged in sending out new missionaries to the nations. And one of my major responsibilities is to just bring them together, to have them talking to each other, to exchange their experience and make sure that nothing is lacking, that they can do a great job. Mm-hmm. Among those things, we also have gatherings for young people every other year. For instance, we have introduced, or I have introduced Kairos into the whole mission movement here. And also another smaller program that works very well to connect with the churches, to just make mission again a topic in church life and the life of Christians who are interested to ask what the will of God is in their lives.
All right. So we'll come back to AEM again, but I think we better to get to know you a little bit better. So your missionary journey. So God has sent you all the way from Germany and Switzerland, come to Far East Asia. But how did you guys get to journey together? Or you just said, this is a place to be. We just want to go for missions. I like Chinese food. I I know there must be something, right? Something or a very special calling or leading to where you are right now.
Well, Ray, I'm gonna give you the most not exciting story, just very simple story. We Germans like to shake hands when we say hello
Mhm.
or when we commit to something. And in 1985, I grew up as a Catholic and more traditional home.
Mhm.
And when with 21 and I became a Christian, I mean, I committed to Jesus, understood finally what this Jesus had to do with me. And an elderly lady from that church plant, it was not really a church there then, in the south of Germany, very Catholic area, she gave me a book from Hudson Taylor at the time, and I read it and I was so excited, and I said to God, I want to do something like this guy and go to the Chinese. And it felt like God shook his hand with me and said, okay, you go, girl. And that was really, I wasn't a Christian for a few months when God had put it in my heart that I want to minister among the Chinese. And when we got to know each other, that is a story by itself as well, because we didn't live close by. But
Yeah.
then eventually, when we got to know each other, we both found out later, after we've been writing to each other. At the time, there was no email, no calls and stuff, So eventually, we learned from each other that we both are interested in Chinese. Alain has his different story at that time. So God had already prepared two
Mm.
of us independently that we were geared to wanting to minister with Chinese. I
Mhm.
mean, and there were no Chinese in our neighborhoods around anyway. So
There was no call from heaven in my case and nothing like that. But there
Okay.
was
No
from,
thunder lights. No.
no, not really. So it didn't, people from the outside couldn't see what was happening inside my heart. When a Taiwanese lady in our church in South Germany one day stood up after the sermon and invited everyone who is interested to learn Chinese to come to her and have lessons. And from then on, the Lord has given me um, an interest in the Chinese culture.
Mm.
So I said, this is not normal, Lord. If this is from you, keep it. And of course he did. And from then on, it was a sudden interest in the Chinese culture I have never had before.
That's
So
really
that
something.
was something special for me. And that's how it started, actually.
How
I
nice.
already knew
Mhm.
I would go to a Bible school, but I didn't know why the Lord led me to that. But after that experience, I was sure afterwards, somehow, I will go to the Chinese.
Right. But there must be some different struggles because what surprised me the most is not, for somebody have an interest in the Chinese culture because, there are a lot of people have interest in Chinese culture, but to really devote themselves and really spend time and to get to know the culture and everything. You even finish your PhD thesis in Chinese language.
D-Min.
Yeah,
I'm
in
working on
Amen,
PhD
right?
now.
So
Yeah.
that's I still have the book, a very thick book, and it's everything in Chinese. Even you have a help, some help from the locals, but apparently what you're writing about, right? So
I do.
that's a commitment we're talking about, right?
yeah. Well, but that's the cool thing, that you can't do it. It's like something he just planted that seed in us, and
Mm.
we never doubted it. We just never doubted it. But we do have a very different approach on, how you actually go through it. Even if in our hearts we never doubted it, But even when we arrived in Taiwan, the first date, Alain had a smile like this. He felt like, I'm coming home finally. And I had to hold my tears back because I thought, oh my goodness, I felt now I'm trapped at this island. I'm like a prisoner for the rest of my life. But these were things also, honestly, I had to learn. Is a different spiritual atmosphere in a different country.
Yeah.
I'm more sensitive in that area. So I did have a sense of that other spirits I didn't know from coming from Germany, where I grew up.
Yeah, because okay, for most of our audience, I think they are like one way or another a mobilizer or relate to mobilization, of missions. But I think what stand out the most is your previous experience as missionaries. That makes you such a very convincing mobilizer, right? Because you have been there and done that. Many mobilizers have little short-term mission trips here or there, or sometimes they are just like church pastors have one or two like mission trips to some foreign countries, and they become an advocate for missions. But since you guys are seasoned, seasoned is a very nice word to say, but
Yeah,
I don't want
thank
to
you.
say
We
old.
got old.
Thank you.
These are the missionaries, and they have very much a cross-cultural experience and context. So how does that help as a mobilizer?
Well, I must say, the experience in Taiwan has sensibilized us for the intercultural aspect of the gospel.
Mm-hmm.
Gospel is not something that any culture has inherited or has a right to. Well, the way we do it is right. So to see the gospel as something that has to live in with different clothes of culture, that has been that has been a lesson for me.
Mm-hmm.
Coming back to Switzerland, I realized that the society here has changed dramatically.
Mm-hmm.
There are many more nations among us today than were when I left Switzerland many years ago.
Mm-hmm.
So I think in this account, my experience in Asia, or our experience in Asia, are very precious and helpful. Right now we are engaged in preparing a next church planting, and it's in a place with against 100 or about 100 different nationalities. And it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable that such a thing close in our neighborhood is happening and nobody else really took
That's
care.
right.
There's no church.
Yeah,
No
so
church
God had bring people to your doorsteps, and we need to do something about it. And sometimes we're always considering mission as from this place to a foreign country, from this end to another. But often we're kind of people blindness about our surroundings, our neighborhood. I think most of the gateway cities around the world are very similar. That's for sure in Switzerland's case, right?
Yeah,
Yes,
definitely. I
definitely.
mean, like 37% of the Swiss population has migrant background.
Oh, okay.
That's a very high percentage. So when I walk in our town, which is only about 20 plus thousand people, not 100,000, just 20 plus thousand. When I walk out there, probably only every fourth or third person would speak Swiss German. And I hear a lot of other languages. I don't even know what they are. I mean, some other European languages I'm not familiar with because we haven't been living here for so long.
So can you just share a little bit about AEM, because most of the people are not really familiar with the structure, especially in the European setting. In many countries, you have this Evangelical Missions Alliance. So so how does that work? And how does that function? How does that help the church and the mission organizations to move forward together?
Well, the AEM is the abbreviation for Association of Evangelical Missions and an umbrella organization of mission organizations in Switzerland.
Mm-hmm.
There's a similar construct in Germany and also in Austria, and they work together with the local Evangelical Alliance, National Evangelical Alliance.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just one of its groups or connected with. So it serves in its capacity, it serves the church's need to understand intercultural missions and what it's all about. So it's a kind of center of missiology within the church, structured through mission organizations in and outside of the country, and providing all the informations and services in need to get the job done among the nations.
Yeah, but we all know the Christian missions and Christian churches, different denominations are most of the time very diverse. You know, we all have our own, agendas, different organizations, different visions, purpose statements, and not saying it's not possible, but it's really challenging, to work together, and sometimes it's even like because. I should say sometimes people are in organization kind of territorial. This is my thing, my people. This denomination, is more related to us, and the other one is not. So how does that work? Since you are in this position, I don't want to put you in a hot spot, but just tell us a little bit about the challenge and how it works for you.
Well, although we are very diverse and do very different things, there are some common needs that bring us together to the questions: how can we meet them together, or how can this be done in a way that saves money, that provides resources everyone needs in a more economic way, like healthcare, member care, theological training, and also preparing for situations abroad where you have security issues politically or those things. These are just a number of items that keep a business manager or an executive director busy full week, every week. We have 39 mission members or member organizations. Among them, we have 5 theological training centers. They do not send missionaries per se, but they have mission departments or mission training courses provided in their theological training centers, and therefore would see a big need to connect with all the other mission organizations and provide them with professional people to do a better job. Besides, we have together with the AEM in Germany, we have a professional missiological institute called AEWM, Academy of World Missions, in cooperation with Columbia International University. And a lot of our money, our membership money, also goes to support that. And we have done good experience with that.
That's great. So it's following what you just said, Rita, you have been involved with your organization, Send International, and also as a leading force for the member care sphere, and quite a few coaching and mentoring, for the upcoming emerging leaders and youngsters and the new recruits. And tell us a little bit about that. Is that all right? Especially for we as mobilizers. I often say it's very important for us to see mobilization is not just recruiting, but also a holistic consideration for different necessary parts and elements for missions and mission force.
Yeah, I would probably say that even in the stage of mobilization, if I was the one who would create the training for an organization anew, I probably would start with coaching right then when you recruit people, because people need people to connect to. It's not, you can't just be handed over always to other people. Now you go through the process, maybe in this country, and then you have no connection there whatsoever. So I do really enjoy when leaders call me into that journey, even in the process before people get sent out. So then I can get an opportunity to talk with them about their challenges, what they have before they come on the field, but then I already have established a connection with them. So when they start afresh in the new country, the new location where they live, and they're supposed to do language or get into a ministry, then I can meet up with them. I've already established the trust. And that's where it also all really comes in handy, that we have been ministering abroad for so many years, because now these people come in and I already get their trust, because they know, well, somehow she'd made it out there for 25 years. So there must be something I can learn from her. So that comes in there. So and the other thing is, it's maybe a new model, that I'm not, for most of the coaching, I'm not responsible to the leadership as a coach to inform them what's happening, beside those kind of things when the mission has a standard. Okay, the people have to reach a certain level of language, and I do the rating, that is very much straightforward talk. But people can feel like they can let me into their lives without their leaders or anybody on their team, knowing about all of their stories. So that is a very unique model. A lot of businesses do that. So people know they can come to me anytime, with any situation, and I can coach them or mentor them. And I can see that when you come alongside, the first 2 years are really crucial for people in their transition. And I can see that it helps people really with that attrition problem, that people might stay longer out there.
After hearing this, I'll ask my wife to call you.
All right.
So for people who want to come to Europe, from Chinese world, there's somebody who can help.
Yeah, you could build up a mission here. I can come inside.
The Chinese network in Europe waits for such people.
Yeah, for most of the audience, if you're watching this the very first time, it's really interesting for me personally, because I often talk with Alain and Rita in Mandarin, not in English. So this interview is conducted in English is actually very interesting for us, because we often talk in Mandarin. and one more thing, very private, I just let you know that your refrigerator is still in my home and it's still functioning.
All right.
After all these years, since they left Taiwan about 5 years ago, and we took over the laundry machine and the refrigerator. We changed the laundry machine because it's too,
they don't keep that long. But I still miss that refrigerator, because I couldn't get one as nice as I had.
Okay, one last thing before we go, and I really want to get to the bottom of this. We all know nowadays, in the last of, I would say, the 30, 40 years, the shift of gravity of Christianity is very dramatic. Where it used to be the mission field, now becoming the mission force, and that had been the main thing, especially for the Global Mobilization Network. Nowadays, we're seeing missionaries sent from the so-called majority world, from Latin America, from Far East Asia, from the from Africa, from India to every other parts of the world. And apparently, Europe, for example, it used to be the mission sending base. But nowadays, it has become more, such a needy mission field, and needs to be how does that work? The partnership, and can you see some possibilities for future to build on, especially in your context?
Definitely. There is a growing openness for partnerships on one side. And apart from that, the Lord has brought a lot of migrant people to this place to help us to just see beyond our own cultural borders in Europe, and discussions, are going the way, how can we help them? Also, of course, from the side of the church, also opens doors for various other types of ministries. For people coming from the outside with the intention to assist the local churches, though, it is difficult without local assistance from Christians with a heart for them to enter a ministry. We have in our church, in our own church here, where we are in the Baptist church, we have seen a couple coming, and they have had a special burden. It's not easy to build the bridge for the history here, for the background here. And it would be very important for any people who come with that burden on their heart to immerse a little bit in the local culture, to learn about the history of the local churches here.
And the language.
It's not, and the language is the main, is the same thing as it was for us in Taiwan, for those who come to this place. But in addition, because we have in many places very critical thinking, with some religious mixtures in it, it would be important to study a little bit about the background of this type of thinking in order to place the gospel in a different and yet efficient way in their hearts. There are people with needs, and if you talk about needs, there is a lot of commonality, regardless of how it's expressed.
Yeah.
And what we see a lot here is that let's say the national churches who are there, they're very willing to let other migrant people use their facilities. Maybe
Yes.
they use the church in the afternoon and they do their service there. And in fact, I just learned last week that there is about 500 migrant churches in Switzerland. And there's 8 million people, so 500 churches, migrant churches, is quite a number, and there can be more.
And they are taken care of by the local Swiss church. Their leaders, the training for their pastors also is on the heart of the local church leaders in Switzerland too.
Yeah.
So including, for instance, the Chinese churches.
That's
and
great.
Yet there is still much to do. It's not yet very, very progressed, but we are on track in that account.
Thank you very much, Alain and Rita. I think this is great, especially for us to hear from you personally, your missionary journey, and also a journey as a mobilizer. This is something we all need to cherish, especially such a journey is unique. But I think God have been, invest in every and each one of us have a special journey with walking alongside with Him. And thank you very much for today and your time. And just pray all the best, and pray all the best for your boy. And I hope, after this pandemic, we can all see each other very, very soon, face to face.
Yes, we hope that very much. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.